This transformed my financial life. I learned how to make money online without showing my face, working just 2 hours a day from home, and now I have a consistent income. The link is in the first pinned comment.
What's crackin'? Flame Crew. Mr. Flame here. And if you thought the previous list of animated bombshells was enough to satisfy your hype addiction, think again, because the studios are lining up a cinematic slate that is absolutely loaded with legacy sequels, groundbreaking reboots, and the kind of animated events that will have us all talking for years. We're deep diving into the projects that are still buzzing in the deepest corners of the internet. Some confirmed, some pure fan speculation, but all carrying the massive weight of incredible anticipation. Get ready to have your childhood revisited and reinvented, because the next wave of animation is coming, and it's going to be huge. Kicking things off in 2027 is a sequel that has been officially confirmed and is already setting the stage for one of the biggest box office battles of the year. A return to the toy box that defined a generation, Toy Story 5. The sheer fact that we are getting another installment after what felt like a perfect final farewell has sent shockwaves of excitement and, let's be honest, a touch of anxiety through the fanbase. The biggest rumor swirling around the production is that this film will shift focus completely to a new cast of toys, perhaps a group left behind in a long-forgotten antique shop, or even a collection of toys that have achieved viral fame through social media. A concept that allows the franchise to explore entirely new, modern themes of relevance and obsolescence in the digital age. Fan expectation is massive for this one, primarily centered on how the creative team can justify a return for the beloved originals like Woody and Buzz, without undercutting the beautiful, emotional closure of the previous films. The speculation suggests a mentor role for the legacy characters, a poignant passing of the torch that honors the past while blazing a path for the future. Whispers from internal testing have hinted at a visually inventive story that utilizes new animation techniques to bring unique texture and realism to the forgotten corners of the toy world, making the environment itself a character of immense complexity and danger. The pressure on this film is monumental. It needs to be more than just a cash grab. It must be a vital, emotionally essential chapter in one of the most beloved film sagas of all time. And if they nail the landing, it will be another feather in the cap of a studio synonymous with groundbreaking animated storytelling. Moving into 2028, we look at a project that has been a quiet but constant demand from a vocal, passionate corner of the internet. A potential sequel to a unique and wonderfully charming film that deserves to be expanded. The Princess and the Frog 2. The persistent buzz and fan campaigns center on the idea of taking Tiana and Naveen's story to the next level, perhaps exploring a global adventure as they expand Tiana's restaurant empire, taking their New Orleans charm and entrepreneurial spirit to Paris, London, or even across the globe, creating a truly international animated tale. The exciting rumors suggest that the new film will introduce an entirely new form of magic, one tied not to the bayou, but to ancient European folklore, that threatens their business and their love, forcing them to rely on their established strength and wit, moving beyond the simple kiss the frog premise. The anticipation is immense for a return to the stunning, expressive 2D animation style that made the first film such a visual standout, a style that many fans feel has been neglected in the era of CGI, hoping for a beautiful, hand-drawn look that pops with the vibrant colors of the Jazz Age. Fan theories have also focused on the possibility of their daughter taking a central role, inheriting a mix of both the Bayou magic and her mother's ambitious spirit, and embarking on her own coming-of-age journey. This project, if realized, would not just be a sequel, it would be a powerful statement about the enduring beauty of traditional animation and a celebration of modern, diverse fairy tale heroism that the fans are absolutely desperate to see. For 2029, let's talk about a rumored reboot of an absolute classic that holds a special, quirky place in the hearts of millennial viewers, a film that blended comedy, music, and an unexpectedly deep message about following your own path. The Road to El Dorado, Reckoning. The word on the street is that a major animation studio is looking to revive this IP, not as a direct sequel, but as a high-stakes, animated reboot that retains the original's core buddy comedy dynamic while cranking up the epic scale and mythological depth, transforming the con men into genuine, flawed heroes forced to confront a far more ancient and powerful threat. Rumors suggest the plot will center on an older, wiser Tulio and Miguel being forced to return to El Dorado, now facing a crisis of identity and isolation, because their actions in the past inadvertently awakened a long-dormant Mayan or Incan deity, a truly menacing villain who seeks to reclaim the city's power for themselves. The fan expectation here is a fine line. They demand the return of the iconic humor and the dazzling visual style, but also a more mature, complex narrative that fully explores the clash of cultures and the burden of responsibility they left behind. Speculation about the soundtrack is also rampant. The original was defined by its incredible musical numbers, and fans are hoping for a blend of Latin American and modern orchestral music that pays homage to the original's composer while forging a fresh, contemporary sound. If this reboot can successfully balance its comedic heart with an epic, visually ambitious quest, it will be a smash hit that proves that certain animated classics were simply ahead of their time, ready for a grand, modern reintroduction. In 2030, a film that represents the holy grail of animated sequels, a project fans have considered a foregone conclusion, but one that the studio has been cagey about, is rumored to finally be in serious production. Incredibles 3. The excitement for a return to the Parr family's superpowered world is a constant, palpable force in the online sphere, and the biggest rumor is that the third film will focus heavily on the next generation of heroes, particularly an older, struggling Dash and a fully powered, but emotionally awkward Jack, who is now grappling with the terrifying scope of his myriad powers. Fan theories suggest a narrative where the classic villains are no longer the primary threat. Instead, the family must contend with a powerful government or corporate entity that seeks to weaponize young supers, forcing the Incredibles to go underground and operate as true vigilantes, a darker, more politically charged direction for the franchise. The immense expectation is for the action sequences to be even more innovative and visually stunning, pushing the boundaries of CGI physics and choreography, creating a sense of scale and destruction that would rival any live-action superhero blockbuster. There are persistent whispers about the introduction of a new, major superpowered family who act as rivals or foils to the Parrs, forcing them to confront their own family dynamic and methods. The central question for fans is whether the new film can maintain the perfect balance of family drama, domestic comedy, and explosive superhero action that defined the previous two installments. If they deliver on the promise of a story that finally pushes the children into the spotlight while maintaining the sharp, satirical edge, this film will be a defining cinematic event of the decade, a true triumph of animated superhero storytelling. For 2031, let's switch gears to a live-action remake of a beloved, visually spectacular animated film that has been the subject of countless casting discussions and conceptual art leaks. Hunchback. This is a project that carries a tremendous amount of weight, given the original's dark, mature themes and its incredible musical score, and the biggest rumors suggest that the studio is embracing the complexity, aiming for a grand, gothic, and emotionally profound cinematic experience that is closer in tone to a Broadway musical than a traditional family film. Fan excitement is centered around the film's potential to finally deliver the full, uncompromising vision of Victor Hugo's novel, with rumors suggesting a commitment to practical effects and massive, real-world sets to capture the majesty and scale of Notre Dame, eschewing the over-reliance on green screen. The central expectation is, of course, the music. The original songs are legendary, and fans are demanding that the new version not only retains their power, but also introduces new, equally powerful numbers that expand the emotional core of Quasimodo's journey and Esmeralda's plight. There have been persistent rumors about which major, dramatic actor has been tapped to play the terrifying villain Frollo, an announcement that would immediately set the internet ablaze and signal the film's serious, adult-oriented intentions. If this remake succeeds in its ambition to be a dramatic, mature, and visually breathtaking epic that honors the soul of the original while pushing the boundaries of the live-action adaptation, it will be a landmark film that proves these remakes can be a powerful vehicle for complex storytelling, dominating the cultural conversation for months on end. As we move to 2032, we turn to a sequel that everyone knows is coming, but whose plot has remained a brilliant mystery. The follow-up to an instant classic that redefined the animated musical landscape, Moana 3. After the success of the sequel and the excitement for the live-action remake, the narrative potential for a third animated chapter in Moana's journey as a master wayfinder is absolutely limitless. And the biggest rumor is that this time, her voyage will take her far beyond the Polynesian islands to the icy, unknown waters of the far south or the mythical, lost civilizations of the east, exploring the true global scale of the ocean and the ancient wayfinders. The core fan expectation is to see a fully realized adult Moana, now a leader and a teacher, facing a challenge that tests her as both a navigator and a chief, perhaps confronting an environmental crisis that threatens all the islands, or a rival seafaring culture that has forgotten the ways of the ocean. Whispers from the studio floor hint at a completely new, unique visual style for the new regions she explores, introducing new mythology, new demigods, and an entirely new, colorful cast of characters who challenge her understanding of the world. The anticipation for the new songs is naturally immense. Following the massive success of the original's music, fans are demanding a soundtrack that is just as infectious, heartfelt, and culturally authentic, a task that any new creative team must approach with both reverence and bold innovation. If this threequel manages to expand the world and deepen the character arcs with the same emotional sincerity and visual splendor as its predecessors, it will solidify the franchise's status as a modern animated pillar and a celebration of oceanic adventure that the Flame Crew will absolutely adore. Finally, for 2033, we look at a reboot of a completely different flavor, a project that is a total curveball, but carries the potential for massive, unpredictable success. Gargoyles Reborn. For the uninitiated, this is a beloved 90s animated series that has a fiercely loyal cult following, and the rumors suggest a modern, high-budget, animated reboot aimed at an older, young adult audience, retaining the dark, gothic tone and the complex, serialized storytelling of the original. The central buzz is that the reboot will transplant the ancient Scottish gargoyles from their New York City setting to a massive, sprawling, futuristic metropolis. Think Neo Tokyo meets Gotham, where they are forced to contend with modern surveillance technology, corporate espionage, and a new breed of technologically enhanced villains who see them as relics to be exploited. Fan expectation is sky-high for the return of the original's complex, Shakespearean themes of identity, betrayal, and honor, delivered through stunning, atmospheric animation that captures the majestic, brooding quality of the stone creatures. There are strong whispers that the narrative will be a full-blown animated epic, exploring the gargoyles' ancient history and their war with various supernatural and technological foes across the centuries, giving the new series a massive, interconnected universe feel. If this reboot can successfully transition the classic dark fantasy aesthetic into a modern, high-concept narrative while maintaining the emotional depth and intellectual complexity of the source material, it will be a critical darling and a massive hit with the older demographic, becoming the undisputed king of animated dark fantasy for the decade. There you have it, Flame Crew, 7 more animated fire starters that are guaranteed to dominate the box office and the conversation in the coming years. The future of animation is looking insanely ambitious, constantly seeking to honor the classics while spinning off into exciting, unexpected new directions. The line between what's confirmed and what's wish fulfillment is getting blurrier every day, and that's exactly where the magic happens. Now, which of these animated projects are you most excited to see posters for on the channel? Is it the ambitious return to the toy box with Toy Story 5, the dramatic gothic scale of Hunchback, or the dark superhero sequel in Incredibles 3? Drop your thoughts and your biggest fan theories in the comments below. And hey, if you want to be the first to know about the next massive animated leak, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to Nerd Flame, and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss a single spark.
I didn't know this was even possible. I learned how to make money online. The link is right below in the first pinned comment.